Hi guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rifts. They're back with a Twisted Fate commentary guide, and this one is actually pretty interesting because, as you guys know, I normally play AD carry and I rarely actually do guides on other roles. But I've actually, I wouldn't say underrated. I think Twisted Fate, I've rated it correctly, but what I will say is I've been playing Twisted Fate wrongly for the longest time, and only recently have I actually realize how to actually play him properly, which I will show in this video. But of course, this is only my 6th match on Twisted Fate, so I'm definitely not a good Twisted Fate, but I chose this gameplay because I did a lot of things good here and a lot of mistakes as well, so let's quickly just jump into it. So first up, as you can see, I've already made my first mistake at level 1, which is taking my Q instead of my W at level 1, because taking my W at level 1, I can actually poke out the Akali very well, because for my Q I actually have to aim it, but since my auto attack range is longer than Akali, I can actually use my blue cards or like my gold cards or my red cards just to do more damage to her. So just now I managed to actually do that with my basic attacks and proc my electrocute, but I could have actually done even more damage to her. As you guys can see, about a third of her health is gone already, but I could have done like maybe half her health at least. So first mistake already made, something that both you and I can learn from. You will see in this mistake, in this game, I will make like as many mistakes as I do make good plays. So they are like about even. So it still goes pretty well in the end. But there will be a lot of things to learn from this video. So the main thing that I've been playing wrong about Twisted Fate is that I took Twisted Fate as just a stun bot who only uses gold cards. Like previously playing Twisted Fate in my previous like 5 matches, I would like lock in gold card every single time, and I'll only lock in red card and blue card like maybe once in a match per card, or even like none. But now I realize that there's actually a purpose for the blue and the red card. Blue card, obviously, as you guys can see in lane, it actually restores a very decent amount of mana, which is why you don't actually have to take like mana flow ban or build like a lot of mana on Twisted Fate, which is what I actually used to do. I actually used to take mana flow ban. Here you can see how you use the red card, which is to push waves. So normally with 1 red card and 1 Q, you can almost full clear a wave at lower levels. At higher levels, when you have items, basically 1 red card and 1 Q instantly clears a wave. You guys will see it later on. But another great strength about Twisted Fate is his macro. As you guys can see here, I see a fight breaking out in the top lane, so I'm gonna actually ult over, get my stun card off, hit my Q and auto attack, proc electrocute, and get a kill for myself onto the Tristana. Now I didn't actually manage to show the place I was porting to, but I will show that in future times that I use my ultimate, because you know I have never recorded really Twisted Fate before, so I kind of not really used to how it works. Here, as you guys can see, I'm just using my red card to clear the wave. Now in this matchup, it is just a normal match, it's not a ranked match, but here Twisted Fate is actually a hard counter to both Evelynn and Akali. Now the reason is that when Evelynn stealths, Twisted Fate's ult gives True Sight, which will reveal Evelynn. Same story for Akali when she's in her shroud. If Twisted Fate ults, you will actually be able to see Akali in her shroud. So that's actually kind of like a counter to Akali and Evelynn. So it's sort of like a little bit of a coincidence. But on the other hand, Akali and Evelynn both are assassins who can easily one-shot Twisted Fate. So I have to be very wary of my positioning and, you know, just in general not to get one-shot by them. Don't let them get on me. So here, again with the red card. Now red card, normally you want to use it in the back line of minions. So normally it's 2 minions in front, 2 minions at the back. So you generally want to use it in the back line. Here, I tried to flash gold card the Akali, but unfortunately she hits her shroud in time. My ult was down anyway. Even if it was up, I wouldn't have pressed it in time. So I tried to flash gold card her. Instead, I flashed gold card the minion. So if I managed to actually make that play, I believe me and Wukong together would easily be able to kill off the Akali. Just needed that little bit of CC, you know, just to lock her down for us to kill, but unfortunately it does not happen. Here Akali has backed, so here I'm just gonna gold card the minion, as you guys can see, auto attack Q, and just auto attack to clear the rest of the wave. Of course with a cannon minion it's a little bit hard to clear. Here Twisted Fate is actually decent at pushing towers, especially when you get a Lich Bane, which I do not have yet. Instead, I overextend to push the tower. I get all in by the Akali, and there's pretty much nothing I can do. The moment you get like hit by Akali's E is pretty much the time when you're dead, unless you can sidestep her ultimate, but both of which I did not manage to do. So this is obviously a huge error for me. I greeded a little bit too much for the tower damage, so I died to Akali and paid the price for it. But I do already have my Rod of Ages and my Iron Boots of Lucidity, so at least I am doing quite well in terms of the item side of the house. So here, walking back to lane, I'm just going to clear out the minions, of course, and Akali isn't in lane, so I'm just gonna push the lane. Twisted Fate can play the push and roam playstyle very well, which is kind of the main playstyle you should be playing Twisted Fate, which is just the push and roam, which is why his lane matchup honestly isn't very important. Like, Akali versus Twisted Fate 1v1, it's very, very clear that Akali wins the fight, but Twisted Fate wins the pushing battle, so I can easily push out the wave and rotate. Akali is forced to stay in the lane to clear the wave. So actually, in reality, Twisted Fate versus Akali is really not as bad as it appears, because I don't have to actually interact with her. I have to just stay out of her range, push the minion wave like this. As you guys can see, one red card, one Q, and a couple auto attacks instantly pushes out the wave. Whereas Akali, if she Qs the wave twice to clear it, she will be out of energy. So she has to balance whether she wants to do that or not. Here I'm gonna roam bot onto the Zed, trying to gold card him, but he sees it coming, he shadows away, which I'm honestly not very surprised by at all. I kind of expected that to happen. But I already pushed out mid. I kind of was forced to make a play here because I really had nothing to do. I don't really have enough gold to back and get something, and mid is already pushed. I don't want to push the tower again and get caught by Akali, who in this case has clearly rotated up to the top lane. So in this case, it is kind of a lot safer to do so. So I can actually pick up some tower plate gold, and of course using my cards in between just to restore the mana. Here I actually pick up 2 plays before Akali, or I shouldn't say Akali, before Zed actually shows up to the picture. Zed clearly has ultimate, so I don't want to mess with him. Here I make another mistake of greedily trying to backport in the Pixel Brush, and Zed clearly is going to make it there in time. I said like 2 seconds left on my back, so I pay the price for it. I get Zed ulted. I actually managed to flash majority of his initial damage and stun card him. If Evelyn didn't show up, I actually think that there is a very decent chance that I actually escape with my life. So, but unfortunately, Evelyn was there to punish, and clearly it was my mistake to begin with, so I rightfully get punished for the mistake. So as you guys can see, really making a lot of mistakes on the Twisted Fate in this particular match. But also we're doing quite a lot of things well, like pushing and rotating, getting tower plates where we can, rotating for kills like on the Tristana, rotating for the Zed as well. We didn't kill him, but that doesn't necessarily make it a bad play, just that it didn't go as well as it could. So here, me and Wukong want to pick up the Rift Herald. We have already managed to pick up the Dragon successfully just now, so in terms of objectives, Wukong definitely out-rotating the Evelyn there, which is of course amazing. So here Akali clearly is rotating down, but there is a huge fight happening at bot lane where I think my utility is going to be way better than with the Wukong. Here, as you guys can see, stun card, Q, and get the kill on the Evelyn. The Zed is over there as well. Now he's obviously out of range. He has already used his shadow, so here I wait for his shadow to run out, then I port over to him, and I try to gold card, but he's out of range. Singe tosses him over into my range, so I just stun card him for the easy kill. Nice teamwork between me and the Singe. So important thing there is actually waiting for Zed's W to expire before actually teleporting. If not, after you teleport, he can just teleport back to his W and kind of defeat the purpose. Here, huge wave. I just red card the wave, Q, and basically the whole wave is gone. Twisted Fate's wave clear is just amazing. Now, I have no idea why previously I thought that Twisted Fate's red card and blue card were useless. I actually really said that in a couple of tier lists, but now I realize how wrong I am. His red card and his blue card is actually very, very useful. So just look at this red card damage, red card onto the wave, auto attacking the wave is gone. Easily push out the wave. And now at this point I can back, recall, get back to base, and get my Lich Bane like you guys can see here. Now another thing I wanna kind of discuss is the runes as well as the spells. Now for the spells, you guys can see I've taken Barrier. Now personally, I think it's a personal preference between Barrier, Ignite, and Exhaust. Now I think Barrier in general is just the best option, just because you never know when people are on you, and that Barrier could save your life. And if you take Exhaust, it's kind of like a lot of utility for your team as well. You can exhaust the assassin or some backline diver who is likely to kind of go for you, or like the AD carrying the backline, so that would be very useful as well. Ignite just gives you more kill pressure, but honestly I feel like Twisted Fate isn't really the type of champion to like really need solo kills. Really, honestly, on Twisted Fate, even if you don't get kills, if you just farm up like well, and if you just like pick up your items and just farm waves, just rotate to help out your team. Like, even if you're getting assists and not kills, like, really, it isn't really that big of a deal. Like, I don't feel like Twisted Fate really needs kills, because his main purpose is a couple. Like, his main purpose is either just being a stun bot to just stun enemies with his gold card in team fights, or to give your team numbers advantage by ulting over to fights, or to give vision to your team, like when Akali is in her shroud, or when like there's an Evelynn in the game, that kind of role, or what you will see very well, which I will demonstrate later, is to play split pusher. So now Twisted Fate in the late game with items like, you know, with Deathcat, with Lich Bane, etc, he does a lot of damage to towers. He can like 3-shot towers easily with Lich Bane. Like, you just blue cut the tower, one Lich Bane proc, you press your E, another Lich Bane proc, you aim your Q like backwards and you auto take tower, another Lich Bane proc, and that pretty much automatically just deletes the tower. So you guys will see it later. I will demonstrate it later, like in the bot lane, I believe. Yeah, so he just destroys towers. And the thing is that if they send people to stop you, you can easily just ult away and join your team for the team fight, so you automatically give your team a numbers advantage. So that's something you can do as Twisted Fate, like in the later stages of the game. Of course, if you do it in the earlier stages, it's really not very useful. Here, easy kill, stun the Evelynn, you know, Singe throws her in and she's dead. Like, she just wasted her flash there. There was no way she was escaping there. So Twisted Fate, honestly, the stun is a lot of utility for the team. He's mainly there for the stun. Like, aside from his like single target burst, like when you stun card Q, auto attack somebody and get your electrocute off, aside from that burst, after you do that, you basically have no damage anymore at all. So really, you can't do anything much. Here, as you guys can see, look at how much damage I do to the tower. Nothing much at all. Because I don't really have a lot of items yet. I have Lich Bane, yes, but I don't have Death Cap or, you know, other like damaging items. Not enough AP to really, you know, do a lot of damage yet. Here I get deep vision into the enemy jungle. Zed comes over, so I'm kind of prepping in case I need to lock gold card, but I don't. So instead I just lock blue card to push tower. Boom, tower destroyed. In case you guys didn't know, blue card actually does the most single target damage out of the 3 cards. Gold card and red card does less, because gold card is a stun and red card is AoE damage. But in terms of the damage, blue card does the most single target damage. So if you're pushing towers, you should always use the blue card and not the red or the gold card. Aside from that, of course, when you're pushing towers, you can also restore mana with blue card. So that is simply the most logical lock-in when you're pushing towers. And in general, if you don't know which card to lock in, just locking blue card is in general the best, because restoring mana and doing more damage is always a good thing. Here I'm porting over, stun onto the Seraphine. Unfortunately, my team kind of turns onto the Akali instead of the Seraphine, and Seraphine doesn't manage to actually get away, but comes relatively close to actually getting away. So here, as you guys can see, Twisted Fate, whenever you ult, it should lead to a kill. Of course, unless you're against a slippery character like the Zed. But if you ult and go for like a Seraphine, you ult and go for like a Evelynn, like they're dead. Like if they got no mobility, they're dead. Like there's no way they're surviving your gold card, because that 1 second or so of lockdown is enough for you and whoever else is there to just destroy them. Now, of course, if you do something like, you know, go for a pick yourself without your team, then that's a different story. But if your team is there, it's a guaranteed kill. Here you see I melt the tower relatively fast. Takes about like 3 or 4 auto attacks to get the tower down from like about 3/4 plus health of the tower. But in the late game, you guys will see how I one-shot, not one-shot, but 3 auto attack the tower just to get it down. So here my team is kind of grouping up in the top lane, you know, just getting the 2nd tier tower. Nothing much is happening here, so I actually was intending to backport, but like, you know, kind of the enemy team shows up, so I don't really want to recall there, which is a dangerous situation. I've learned my lesson from, you know, just now when getting assassinated by the Zed. Here a fight kind of just breaks out, so I just contribute a little bit of damage onto the Evelynn. Of course, I'm staying in the back line. I've got my stun card ready, but they're all out of range. I don't really want to flash on them, so I instead end up gold carding a minion. Akali is flanking from behind. She actually uses everything already, and Izanias for really no good reason, but, you know, better to be safe than sorry. We don't actually get killed by the Akali, so that's fine. Akali didn't actually have ult, so she couldn't really do too much after her initial combo there, but, you know, we weren't keeping track of her ultimate, so best to just Zanias to be safe. So here we recall, built towards a rapid fire cannon. Now, rapid fire cannon is a good and bad item Twisted Fate. The reason why it's good is because it extends your auto attack range, so you can stun card somebody from a lot further back. But the bad part about it is that it's a AD item. It's not even an AD item, it's a crit and attack speed item. Two stats that Twisted Fate really doesn't actually need. He just needs kind of like AP, cooldown reduction, those kind of stats. But so these two stats aren't really very useful for him. But just the utility of stunning people from further away, it's enough to kind of warrant it. So here, getting a very nice double kill. Here I have my flash up, so I'm going to lock in gold card. I'm going to actually flash for the Seraphine, waiting for the minion wave to go in so I don't tank as much tower aggro. Here I go in and flash stun the Seraphine right as she actually casts her charm. So even if my team wasn't there, I would easily have actually gotten the kill and gotten out, but you know, Singe actually just comes in and cleans up the kill. In other words, he just KS me. So here, I do so much damage that I just stun card Q, auto the Akali, and the electrocute proc actually kills her while she's in her shroud. So I didn't even have to ult for that. So here, of course, I pick up the rapid fire cannon, pick up the, I believe it's called the amethyst crystal, which is the penetration component of the void staff. So I'm actually kind of very, very close to full build. So I'm actually, of course, going for void staff as my final item, of course, for the penetration. Now, not too much defenses on the enemy team, but, you know, might as well just get a void staff in the event that we actually need the penetration later on. If someone actually decides to go for some kind of, you know, magic resist. So here a fight kind of just breaks out, and Wukong actually gets a triple kill before I even show up to the party. So this is a free Baron for our team. The Evelyn is down, 3 of the enemies are down. There's only really the Seraphine and the Akali left, and 2 of them, you know, they can't really do too much to us, or technically they can, but Akali is busy clearing wave at the bot lane. So here I'm just gonna lock in my gold card. Look at how much damage I do to Akali. Stun card, Q, auto, electrocute, boom, she's dead. Now this is how much damage Twisted Fate can do to a single target, and this is how much damage he can do to a tower. Just look at that, how fast I take the tower. Now look at how fast I take the inhib. Just look at it. So here I'm gonna lock in blue card. 1 auto attack, press E1 auto attack Q. Yep, it's gone. The tower is gone in like 3 auto attacks. Or maybe that was 4, but basically you get the picture. Here I actually managed to stun card Seraphine, but she actually outs me into the base and I actually die for it. But obviously my team has the game secured. So as you guys can see, Twisted Fate is really actually a very, very good mid laner. So yeah. Hopefully you guys learned from both my good gameplay as well as my mistakes. So here, as usual, I'll leave you guys with the stats. So thank you guys for watching the video, and goodbye.